Is AEW doing 3 hours of Dynamite? Are they going on tour in the UK? We got two big AEW news stories coming up. All right, guys, it's your boy Ango. Welcome to DPW. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel, at Tango with Ango on Twitter. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button and don't forget to ring the bell. This way you guys get notified on all of the latest content right here on Destination Pro Wrestling. And I'm extremely excited to talk to you guys about this news. I think for one, a lot of you guys will actually agree. But in order to know whether or not you truly agree, you should probably watch this entire video and then let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you guys want to support the channel and support the show, we have DPW Champion. I don't know what we're calling it, but we have a monthly subscription that you guys can do starting at $1 a month. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and if you guys want to support the channel. This way we could keep coming up with more content and it keeps me motivated to keep producing content. So would definitely appreciate your guys' support. All right, AEW possibly adding a third hour of television. And honestly, it should happen. And I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. But this is what Cody Rhodes had to say about it when talking with Dave Meltzer. He basically goes on to say that the infrastructure is ready for a third hour, but they haven't done a long-form determination with Warner Media about what the format will look like. They may experiment, and he did believe that Tony Khan was thinking about a showcase for younger talent. Probably won't just be dark on television. So what that really means right there is that AEW Dark, as you guys know, is taking place on YouTube, and we've talked about this before. It was rumored to go on TNT, and while that would be a very good idea, AEW Dark is still dark matches, and it doesn't really feel as important as Dynamite. Now, the idea is AEW could, in fact, be adding a second show to AEW. This is something that we've talked about on the channel before. Adding a second show would make a lot of sense, a 1 hour long program. Obviously, having storylines catered to AEW that also follow in with their YouTube content and social media as well as Dynamite. I think that makes a lot of sense. But the rumor also suggests that Cody Rhodes and AEW could be adding a third hour to Dynamite. And the reason for this would be because, one, people want more AEW, and two, it would give them a little bit more time to put a lot more people on the map. It would allow them to put more people on the show, and those who are working hard to be on the show obviously would work their way up the card. Now, me personally, I absolutely hate a 3 hour episode of Raw, which is really interesting because these last few weeks or maybe even months, I feel like WWE Raw has been spectacular. If I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I feel like Raw has actually been really, really good to the point where 3 hours to me is still just too long. That's my fear with AEW Dynamite. I would rather have a 1 hour show added to TNT on a separate night. Realistically, I don't know how it would work in terms of live tapings or whatever it may be, but I think watching 3 hours of wrestling in one sitting is too long. And it's become apparent because pay-per-views have become like 6 hours long depending on the program you're watching, and that is still too long. So the problem that I have here is if AEW were to do a 3 hour show of Dynamite, I think they could pull it off. But I don't think it's going to be successful, in my opinion, for my viewing consumption. And that's just me personally. I don't know if I can personally watch 3 hours of AEW in one sitting. Even though right now Wednesdays are interrupted with pro wrestling, I like to watch sports, and I'm trying to bounce back between ESPN for NBA, and I just don't know if that would work well for me personally. But here's what I would like to think about AEW. AEW has shown that they are really good at putting on a TV show, and they are really good at working with their top stars. If they can do the same for their lower tier wrestlers on their roster, and they can do it in a way that is very nicely paced, I'm going to give it a chance. I'd rather see them do a second show, or I'd rather see them put AEW Dark on TV. But ultimately, I would not be mad at AEW if they made Dynamite for 3 hours. What I think AEW should do, and I think specifically this right here would help AEW significantly. I think, just like how we saw Bash at the Beach, I think those programs, those specialty events that AEW puts on television, I think those should have an extra hour of live television. And I think this could be an experiment for AEW. I think they can look at ratings and the retention rate of how consumers are actually watching the product, what works and what doesn't work. And after so many of these special events that are on live television, on TNT, on Wednesday nights, I think if those are working out great for AEW, then you can mess with the idea of having a 3-hour show. But I know wrestling fans are tired of a 3-hour Raw. And even if they're happy with the product, it's still too much in one sitting. So, the idea of them doing it once in a while, I'm totally cool with it. I think it will make those special events a lot more special. And I think it's not going to be something that people are constantly, upset about, because it's going to be something different. It's going to feel different. It's going to look different. It kind of gives you the idea that AEW is putting on a pay-per-view, but really it's just a extra special edition of live television. And I think that is so incredibly important to AEW. And to me, that's what I would like to see. And I think you guys would agree with that. I don't think we want a 3-hour show permanently, but I think having it, a little bit different here and there would make a lot of sense. Story number 2, we are going to talk about AEW possibly going on a mini tour in the UK, and it sounds like it could very well happen. Guys, I don't know if you know, Alex McCarthy from Talk Sport also has a show called Talk Wrestling. He had a Skype call with Dustin Rhodes. This has actually been alluded to several times, so this is not the first time that it's been talked about. And it's not the first time that we've also talked about it on the channel, but it sounds like it is officially happening at some point in 2020 or 2021. There is an expected live tour that is expected to happen for AEW in the UK. So the wrestling fans in the UK, I feel like you guys kind of got burned a little bit when it came to AEW and its launch, because even though the Fight TV announcement was really cool, I know a lot of people had blowback with the ITV announcement, and it seems like as so many weeks have gone by, it doesn't seem like it's actually improved. So I totally understand why people would be upset about that. I think AEW going into the UK market makes a lot of sense. Well, it's not like you don't need to be a scientist to figure it out. WWE NXT UK is putting on great shows in the UK. Obviously, Progress is still a thing. And even when New Japan gets involved with the UK market, it seems to do pretty well. So I always go back to the days of Impact Wrestling having a very, very strong foundation in the United Kingdom, and that's exactly what I see with AEW. Them doing a live tour is nice because logistically it doesn't have to be as big, and I don't think it has to be as cost heavy, because obviously you're not doing live television from the UK. I think if you're AEW, that is where you should try to produce some more YouTube content. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to have a production crew kind of film like some documentaries, whatever, Road to the UK series. Like, that'd be really cool. I think having more documentation would be awesome. You don't have to do a live taping just yet. I think having these tours would be a really good start. And then as time goes on, obviously, I think AEW just needs to do a pay-per-view there. It's weird because WWE hasn't done a pay-per-view in the UK in a while, and WWE's ratings aren't that good in the UK. So to me, this is a big deal if you're AEW, and I would definitely do it. The chance that I have, the first opportunity, the first chance that I have, I'm pulling all the stops to make it happen. And if I'm a fan in the UK, I'm going to show up to those events because I want them to know that I want them more involved with AEW and the UK. I want them involved. I want them to know that we want them, and that's how I'm going to respond if I'm a fan. That's where you got to put money where your mouth is, because ultimately AEW is still a startup, but they are beyond profitable so quickly because they have television partners like Time Warner, and that is immensely important to the company. But in order to expand from the United States and North America to the United Kingdom, it's going to cost money and it's going to take time. And I'm very glad that they're serious about it. Cody Rhodes continues to talk about it, and that's awesome. I feel like you guys deserve that when it comes to pro wrestling, because lately you guys have been getting burned all across the board, and it is just what it is. So ultimately, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. 2 big news stories. I think you guys will agree, but if you don't, I want to hear why. So the comment section is all yours. Guys, welcome to Destination Pro Wrestling. We're going to try as much as possible to get more content out. It does take time. Been dealing with some stuff. I know you guys are sick and tired of hearing about it, but we're going to keep trying and keep hustling and keep moving and keep making moves until we get it right. So let me know what you guys think about today's news stories. We might have some more videos along the week. Hopefully we do. So if you guys want more of those, make sure you guys click subscribe, ring that bell, get notified on all the latest content. And I will see you guys next time right here on Destination PW. Thanks for watching. Peace.